Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Unscripted Coding. Last week we played around with processing, which is a software sketchbook. You can draw images like this with just a bit of code. In particular, we were using D3.js, a JavaScript version of processing so that we could throw those images or those interactive graphics right on a web page. Now, we didn't get very far with it, but I wanted to actually roll back for a second and ask ourselves why we were doing this. Everyone has different reasons, but I rewatched Fallen.io again recently. So I'm not going to go through the whole 18 minutes, but if you haven't seen it before, check out Fallen.io. And you can watch a video version or an interactive version. So, I just wanted to show very quickly the type of things I was really excited about. This is obviously, well, I don't know if it's obvious, I don't know if it's even true. This is probably actually animated, somebody very talented. I love the idea, and I was just thinking, these kind of graphics lend themselves to programming, to have all these threads that depend on a lot of data. To have a lot of these show up and stack on top of each other, move left and right. These guys have done an amazing job of showing the casualties of World War II, taking large numbers and making visualizations out of them. I don't think I can get anywhere close to that without months and months and months of work. Possibly more, and add in a squeeze of talent in there as well. But you can see the really cool animations that drive this. So we were using processing, and I thought it was an okay tool. I did a bit more poking around, and D3 data-driven documents seems to be a very popular JavaScript library for this type of thing as well. So I haven't looked much beyond this, but you can see, a lot of data being driven through. We can color scheme. Let's see, this one looks pretty cool. Okay, maybe not. This one looks pretty cool. Oh, that is really cool. I don't even know how you would begin building this. Okay, I'm gonna save this one because it just looks amazing. That's a little too advanced. But this is nice. All of these projects are just data driven. How do you take a lot of data and then run it through a bunch of code to make it look pretty? And I love how this one looks. So, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start basically a blank web page. I'm gonna go with my usual JS fiddle template just to start things off. Let me sign in here on the other side. So I have my usual template with view jQuery, just a basic header and footer ready to go to get a template up and running. I have here an HTML file on my desktop so that we're ready to go. And what we're going to do is import D3.js and start playing around with it. See if this is the right fit if I wanted to create something that looks like this. Okay, that's enough talking for now, and we're just gonna jump right into it. Okay, so I've seen enough to find these are not comparable whatsoever. D3 and processing, which we were looking at before. Processing is very much graphics. You saw that we were changing colors, we were changing the stroke size, width. All of these things are very much almost like drawing vector graphics in a different way, I suppose. Very different because D3 appears to be a manipulation type of thing. You're taking existing data, you're taking existing elements in your web page to add some interactivity to it. And what's even better is there are a lot of tools geared towards that question of manipulating data. So if I was trying to create Fallen.io, these kind of graphics, these kind of graphics, yeah, I can use processing to do it, one guy at a time. And because it's programming code, it's a lot easier. I'm thinking of this like if I was in Photoshop, I'd have to copy paste. I don't know, 1,000 times for this particular chart. Processing, it's probably a lot easier. I can just do a for loop, just paste the image over and over, or whatever this may be, over and over. So that does make it easier, but when you have a library already designed to do it, they've already animated the shuffling. It's not a matter of you're figuring out the graphics yourself. You're bringing your data to life. They've done all the hard work for you. In that sense, it's lazier, it's less customized, but it is exactly what I'm looking for. At least I think it is. So I'm going to keep digging this through, but this is making me very happy because this might be easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so we're going to keep going now. Okay, once in a while, I just have to admit, I have no clue what I'm doing, and this is one of those days. I think I've spent an hour struggling now to try and get this working, but I just don't know what I'm doing. So none of this matters really. All we've done here. Oh, we haven't even done anything. We have imported the D3 module, and then for one, we took silver data from a CSV file. I found this handy JSON converter. There was a bit of a issue with trying to put this into a format. D3 seems to be able to take CSV files from the net, from a URL, but of course I have it locally and I got it off Kaggle, the silver price CSV file. So I'm sure there are a ton of ways to do it. You might have seen me Googling, but we could have used dropping the file onto the page, or some other mechanism, but just in the interest of time, I used an online converter. I'm sure it would have done almost the same thing. You drop your file in, and you can convert it into JSON with some sort of library. So that's 50,000 odd entries. And then we come to this, which is actually D3. I just don't know what to make of it. Okay, so let's see what we've done. I've copied and pasted. I'm not going to pretend I know what I'm doing here. I copied and pasted from this observable website, bar charts over here. Let's turn this off. So that we can try and create something very similar. What they've done is created this bar chart function. And what I think it's doing is it's setting out the parameters. For one, you grab the data and then you have a bunch of these settings. But in there, they are creating all of the steps to make this particular graph. So you can see it's creating the SVG, the vector file, setting the width and the height, where it's located, the style, and then it's appending each bar, I suppose. So you can change, say, stroke opacity, you can change a color, you can do all of these things. And this is the this is the code that I was using. So all of the same things, it's doing the steps. So this is the whole chart itself. Each bar will look like this. It's creating a rectangle that is, of a certain height, of a certain width. And then in the end, what you do is you use their function to create this chart. And we have, a pretty cool looking silver chart. I had no clue. I don't know when this is. Take a look here. Sometime in the 1980s, I suppose. There seems to be a massive spike in silver prices. That's cool. And then it goes back down to normal, massive spike. I assume this is like 2008, and then now currently we're kind of high as well. Each of these bars are a result of this bar feature. But what I didn't expect is I thought D3 would be this great, here, create the graph, we spit it out for you. But it's not. This bar chart is an example for you. What they're expecting you to do is to create all of these attributes, create rectangles, just piece it all together. And I'm just thinking, if I'm doing this, I don't need D3, albeit they have some helpful features, but why? And then the really cool animation that I liked was this one. They don't really show you all of the steps to do it, but you can see their function. They have a transition feature. So all of the rectangles will undergo, a delay of a duration, and then the attributes change, and then you transition over to another attribute chain. It's great if you want to borrow this one and understand how it works. it looks like they make the bar thinner and then they drop it down. But that is a heck of a lot of work to get this nice and running. And I just don't understand the formatting. Really, that's what it comes down to. So I had really high hopes for D3 when I was just starting to look into it to see, look at all these charts, look at all these graphs. But if I'm going to do it all by hand anyways, or rather code everything by hand, I actually prefer processing. It just seems like the more intuitive language to me. Everyone's preferences are different, but this doesn't make sense to me. This doesn't make sense to me at all. But I think it was fun to try and play around with, and look, you can borrow code, and observable has so many different. Let's go back to D3.js. There are so many examples for you to borrow ideas from. But now I'm beginning to understand why there are such amazing graphics. You know, this is a very different chart or graph from this to something like this. They're so different, and I had to wonder, where is this all coming from? And that's because all of this appearance is done one line at a time. If you're looking for something data-driven, I think this is it. I told you the reason I wanted to do this was something like, to create something like fallen.io. And I'm willing to put a bit of work, but it's not all statistics, it's not all numbers. There's a lot of it, certainly, but it's not all numbers. So I don't know that D3 is the appropriate way to do it. D3, if it's all about numbers, all of it is your data, and you're just trying to transform it left and right, it might be a worthwhile place to go. And there's certainly a lot of examples of how you can make something really pretty. So I'm still on the lookout for what I can do, and I wonder if I'm just supposed to actually animate it by hand. I guess I'm just being really lazy here. There has to be a better way. Somebody must have done a lot of legwork to make something similar. So, okay, well, that was interesting. I did not expect D3 to be difficult, and yet it really, really was. It just shows you, no matter what you do, there's gonna be all sorts of packages out there that might not fit what you want, that have various issues, not issues, but challenges that you might not expect. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'm very surprised. We didn't come out with anything really cool, but give us a thumbs up if you didn't enjoy it and thought there are better ways to do it. Please leave a suggestion in the comments below. I would love to hear it if you guys know of any libraries, any packages, any way for me to do what I'm trying to set out to do, because I am currently out of ideas. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and follow us next week for another video on unscripted coding. Thanks.